I'll be honest here, Twink. I admit I've fallen behind on reviews lately, but I think I know the reason why. There are certain episodes that I feel I could have so much fun with, especially when I have something to say on the moral or the big meanings behind it, you know? But then there are times where I can't say much on due to either lack of interest or the episode is so straightforward, I don't feel like I can contribute much of anything other than my quick thoughts. I don't know. I knew you would understand, so how about a compromise, you big rainbow fluff? I summarize an episode up, give the viewers my thoughts on it, and a quick poke at the moral to tie it all together. That way, I'm at least doing something of a review, and viewers can still hear what I have to say. Sound like a good idea? I can't hear you! Still can't hear you! Does this sound like a great idea? I shouldn't make him do that.
Nothing stays the same for long, but when it changes doesn't mean...
Well, it's about time Trixie came back on the scene. Though it's one thing I noticed in this fandom, she seems to get mixed reactions from the fans. On one hand, you got the fans that are so crazy in love with her personality, some will cosplay her at conventions. And then you have those that are totally despised her so much that they question why she's there to begin with. Trixie, to me though, has always been one of those loop characters I could somewhat relate to, but at the same time fears she could be used as a plot device. This occurred on her first appearance of Ghostbusters, but later rectified with Magic Duel. Now we have this episode where Starlight Glimmer is challenged with a lesson by Twilight to make a new friend, and that friend just so happens to be Trixie making a return appearance. Okay, so one thing I really enjoyed on this episode was the fact it shed some light on Starlight's character in a new perspective, the outsider peering in. The fact she was stressing out about wanting to prove to Twilight she's willing to learn and has changed, while at the same time fearing the idea of being accepted, is a relatable con to me in this episode. I'm not surprised at all by her pairing off with Trixie. They both come from similar backgrounds where they regret their past and fear everyone is judging them from their mistakes. Even I used to feel like that before I joined the Rift Cafe. Oh, I remember those days. I was pushed into the doors of the Rift Cafe by a lone wolf, encouraged to grow and learn and prosper with my talents. Never know if I would really truly make friends or not due to my past video editing abilities. The unknown that these new reviewers would tolerate a silly little alicorn like me and... Are you quite finished? But leading up to my next point, there were some who got really annoyed with Twilight's behavior in this episode. Granted, she's the princess of friendship, and in the past on Magic Duel, she said she accepted Trixie's forgiveness, but does a 180 on not trusting her in this episode in the slightest. I get it, princess of friendship. She should have kept her word, right? But how is that entertaining or relatable? Twilight is a character that I would hope is still learning what it means to be a princess, and she's not going to hit the ball flying. Sure, one could accept another's apology, but after the events that took place in the past, do you honestly want to trust someone like Trixie, whose ego could potentially rival Silverquill's? Seriously, I don't have the problem with Twilight's reaction. In my book, it is perfectly natural feeling. I've had experience in my past where I could forgive, but that doesn't mean we'd continue being friends. Hence the term forgive, forget, and move on. Heck, fears of the past repeating are justified when Trixie admits to using Starlight as a means to get under Twilight's skin. New factor right here, being used. However, this new factor almost led me back to despising Trixie's character all over again, if it weren't for the fact of this scene.
Exactly! Wait! I mean, no! I got caught up in the moment. I like you.
Heat of the moment? Knock out two edgelords with one twink? One thing's for sure, Trixie surely started out as being friends with Starlight because she approached her first. Not to mention it was only after the fact Starlight introduced Trixie to Twilight later on, gives me the openness that Trixie wanted to be friends with Starlight at the beginning, and that was the only way she saw the opportunity to mess with Twilight, which she immediately regrets later on, especially with the suicide metaphor scene. No, I'm not going to talk about that, Twink. I have no experience in dark thoughts or depression or suicide. Oh, okay. Twink, it's okay. Shh. But overall, this episode was a bag of relatable emotions to me. There's that introduction of a new comrade outside the inner circle, the fear of making new friends, only to discover your current ones don't like this new friend, the feelings of betrayal and use. All these emotions linger in this episode that are, well, admittedly, quite the tackle to address for kids, but could still be entertaining to adults. The facial expressions were adorable and believable. There were some funny moments in their actions with Twilight as well as Celeste at the end, but with the threat of Trixie endangering herself for the sake of her show after losing a friendship is something too dark even for me to touch on. It's probably the one thing I'll question on this episode as something you'll have to talk to your kids about later. But otherwise, I enjoyed its majority and look forward to reviewing more. That's all I have to say on this, everypony. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say on this, and if you have anything to add to the subject, feel free to type in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Keep an eye out for those rainbows. They will make you smile.